Good morning. Welcome to Unity North Spiritual Center in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. I'm Noel Levine, your worship assistant today. Unity North is an inclusive community that welcomes and accepts all people. The Unity movement was started over 130 years ago by Myrtle and Charles Fillmore and their promotion of the power of prayer. At Unity, we see God as love, wisdom, and divine mind. We honor all spiritual practices and the diversity of paths leading to enlightenment. We believe that we are born blessed, and through meditation, affirmation, and prayer, the heart and soul of unity, and we remember this truth. Through the law of mind action, we activate our good, creating harmony and unity in our lives and in the world. Rebecca Thompson is prayer chaplain today. If you'd like to pray with her after service, you can give her a call. Her number will be in the announcements. Today, Reverend Kathy McCall, our minister, is taking a day off. So our former interim minister, Reverend Barbara Winter Martin from Sartell, is here with us as guest speaker today. Let's welcome her. Our producer is Chris Italiano, and our musician with us again today is Claire Van de Grummet. Let's welcome her as she leads us in an opening song.
Thank you. You have your singing voices out this morning? We're going to start out with "Oh, What a Beautiful Day." You'll recognize the melody because it's from Oklahoma. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. But we have a little different lyrics, so they're up on the screen. Let's stand and get the blood moving today. Here we go. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going imagine that good things are coming my way. As I rise and I smile and I greet the new day. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. My heart is a light that will guide me. My heart is a light that will guide me. I'm grateful and open and welcome each day as life keeps unfolding in wonderful ways. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way.
Thank you, Claire. So I was going to read the visions and mission statement and values. Is there any way you can put that up? Okay, there it is. So let's say the vision statement together. Centered in prayer, we create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. In our mission, let's say that, celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, and serving our new King. Okay, now is the time in the service when we greet one another. So please take a minute and wave to each other. And for those of you in person, you can also greet the online members by turning to the camera up there. And if anybody's on from another state or a new member, a new attendee, there's Candy. Say hi to Candy. And there's probably some others there too who are a little more shy. There you have Rebecca Thompson. Welcome. And Finn is there too. He's welcome as well. Now we will take a moment for prayer requests. Rather than say them aloud for all to hear, we invite you to speak a name or request silently or aloud in the privacy of your own home. We give thanks in advance for these prayers, and we say, thank you, Mother, Father, God. And so it is. Amen. Let us stay centered and still for the daily word. The daily word for today, July 30. Well, that's not right. Yeah. Sometimes it's kind of surprising where we are. For August 7th is release. Releasing the past, I make room for the future. My life experiences have provided me with many gifts, from joyous to painful. I've taken something from each one, a nugget of wisdom, understanding, solace, that has helped me evolve into the person I am today. I am always growing, always changing. With gratitude, I receive the blessings while letting the painful memories go. I have no room for regret and do not dwell on things. I have no power to change. As I release unwanted thoughts and unpleasant memories, I free myself to enjoy new experiences and create beautiful, lasting memories. With an uncluttered mind and an unburdened heart, I embrace the present moment and eagerly create my bright, beautiful future. From Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 6, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away. Now Claire will prepare us for meditation with a song.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest, and I trust, and I breathe, and I know in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is light, there is light. In the stillness of this moment, there is light, there is light. And I rest, and I trust, and I breathe, and I know in the stillness of this moment there is light, there is peace, there is light, there is.
And I invite you to gently breathe in that stillness, and that peace, and that light. And if you've not done so already, I invite you to gently close your eyes. Let your feet feel supported. Relax into your chair, your seat. Know that this is the perfect place for you to be. Right here, right now, having this experience. Know that you may choose to follow my words, or you may choose to go elsewhere. Wherever you go will be perfect. You know, our imaginations are one of our most precious gifts from Godness. They allow us to create our life like an artist creates a picture. We can shape and color our lives with our imagination. We know how to imagine. We've been doing it since we were small children. So as an experiment, we can imagine our last third of summer and autumn of 2022. It doesn't matter what has already transpired or what we have already planned. We can add any imaginings that make our spirits soar and our lips smile. So I invite you to take a moment and give yourself permission to perhaps think outside the box, beyond the easily doable, to stretch perhaps a little into the realm of seemingly impossible or extremely unlikely. Just give yourself room to imagine what you might love to do, or experience or become the rest of this summer and fall? What would you love to see yourself doing? Perhaps it's playing at some activity, getting out in nature, perhaps learning a new skill or learning to play an instrument, or getting out in the garden. Perhaps it's relaxation, reflection, and healing. Whatever it is, see yourself in your mind's eye experiencing that right now. Is there some place you'd like to go or visit? See yourself there. And as you create, what kinds of feelings do you want to experience? Perhaps laughter, fun, enthusiasm, or that deep peace and resting. Imagine you experiencing those feelings right now. And who would you like to spend time with? Anytime we like, we can take a breath and use our imagination to picture what we'd like to achieve, experience, or become. I am the artist of my life, and I shape my tomorrow with my imagination today. My mind pictures health, and my body reflects that picture. I listen to my intuition, and I see good ideas that come to me through meaningful coincidences, unsubtle signs, dreams. And I follow through on my internal intuitive proddings. For I am creating my experience by the power of my imagination, because I am the artist of my life. I shape and color my life. I release undesirable mental images, and I hold images of beauty, joy, peace, and harmony. I am inspired by my dreams and intuitive promptings. I know that what I conceive and believe I will achieve. And I am in the flow of images and thoughts that expand my life. I willingly and enthusiastically stretch and imagine new possibilities. I tune into good ideas, and I follow through on my internal promptings. I mentally rehearse skills I want to develop, and I see myself successfully doing them. I visualize peace, love, cooperation, and healing for all peoples of the world, while I keep my eyes single and fill my life and world and me with healing light. I visualize peace, love, cooperation, and healing for all peoples. And so it is. So I just invite you to take a few more gentle breaths. Feel that life energy flowing through you, all the way out to your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes, feeling alert, yet relaxed, energized, yet at peace.
There's a place that I know where the sycamore grow and daffodils have their fun, where the cares of the day seem to slowly fade away in the glow of the evening sun. Peace when the day is done. If I go there real late, let my mind meditate on everything to be done. If I search deep inside, let my conscience be my guide. The answers are sure to come. Don't have to worry none. When you find peace of mind, leave your worries behind. Don't say it can't be done. With a new point of view, life's true meanings come to you, and the freedom you seek can be won. Peace is for everyone. Peace is for everyone. Peace is for everyone.
Oh, Claire, that was beautiful. I just kind of like to sit back and just kind of relax a little bit, but forget it. We're not going to do that. I have the Psalm of Summer. Now it came to pass that spring turned to summer again. God's people raised their voices and said, "Recreation is my shepherd, I shall not stay at home. He maketh me to lie down in a sleeping bag. He leadeth me down the interstate each weekend. He restoreth my suntan. He leadeth me to state parks for comfort's sake. Even though I stray on the Lord's day, I fear no reprimand, for thou art with me. My rod and reel, they comfort me. I anointeth my skin with oil, my gas tank runneth over. Surely my trailer shall follow me all the weekends this summer, and I shall return to the house of the Lord this fall." But then again, it's hunting season, and that's another song. Okay. It's summer. Things are heating up, are they not? And I mean that literally. It's been kind of hot, and figuratively. So I was kind of thinking about that when I was thinking of what to talk about. And I thought, when it gets hot, I love watermelon. Do you? And the way I eat watermelon, it works really well, because besides cooling me off on the inside, it kind of gets all over me and cools me off everywhere, because I'm not that neat a watermelon eater. Plus, if you get the old-fashioned kind, then you can spit seeds afterwards. Oh, it's so fun. So I was thinking about that, and I thought of Wally Amos, famous Amos. Remember the cookies? Okay. Well, he wrote a wonderful little book, and it's called Watermelon Magic, Seeds of Wisdom, Slices of Life. And as I talk about it, and you'll see why I think this is a good fit for us. And so he had a watermelon credo, and he used the letters within watermelon. So, for example, W. Whatever you believe creates your reality. Does he not sound like a New Thought guy? I mean, that's what we talk about every week, isn't it? That what we think about, if you believe life is great, your life is pretty great. If you believe life is pretty not so great, you might be experiencing that. So it reminds us, what are we thinking about? What are the beliefs that we are holding on to? Because if you believe that life is going to hell in a handbasket, that's not a really good belief you want to hang on to. So, and I thought of a story, and this was about a young, well, actually, it was a middle-aged man who had a hot dog stand. And he sold hot dogs on the side of the road. And he was kind of hard of hearing, so he didn't have a radio. He had trouble with his eyes, so he really didn't read the newspaper and didn't watch TV. But he was happy selling hot dogs, and he had great hot dogs, and he was very proud of that. In fact, he rented the billboard just ahead of his hot dog sign and put up there, greatest hot dogs ahead. He was very proud of that. And he stood on the side of the road and he cried, hey, come have the greatest hot dog you've ever had. And people came and they bought him. And his business increased. He had to order more meat and more buns, and he was having a great time. He even bought a bigger stove to cook them on. Then one day his son came home from college and his well-meaning son said, Dad, haven't you heard the news about the recession? The economy is really bad. The unemployment is terrible. The energy situation is worse. So the hot dog man thought about that. He said, well, my son's going to college. He must know. He reads newspapers and listens to everything. He ought to know. So the father cut back on his meat and bun order. He even stopped renting the billboard that was ahead of his, where he sold. And he no longer, stood by the road and bothered to yell and wave at all the customers. And sure enough, his hot dog sales fell. And he said, you're right, son. We certainly are in the middle of a bad recession. It's kind of what we believe, isn't it? And be cautious of that. So, I think annually we need to take a belief inventory. You can do it more often, perhaps, but at least annually, just check out what you're believing. Now, that's kind of a big thing. It's like, where do I start? Well, kind of the world tells you where you can start, because it's like, what is happening in your immediate world? And that's a clue. Non-judgment, this is not where we play metaphysical malpractice, because we're human beings, stuff happens. But if there's things going on in our life, we might want to look at and say, what is my belief about my lumbago? What is my belief about my finances? What is my belief about my relationships? Whatever that might be. And just look at that and see if that's a belief we really want to see replicated going forward. And if it's not, we can change it. That's the good news. So that's the W. Whatever you believe creates your life. A, attitude. We know that too. We're famous here. We have an attitude of gratitude, do we not? Charles Fillmore said, pronounce every experience good and of God, and that mental attitude, you will call forth only the good. What seems error will disappear, and only the good will remain. This is the law. No one can break it. I love that law. It's one of my favorite laws. I like it. So, claim it to be good. And so when I was thinking about that, I thought of one story about the three-haired woman. This was a lovely lady. She woke up one morning and she realized she only had 3 hairs on her head. It's kind of frightening for me personally, but I understand the theory behind this. And she said, oh, well, today I'll braid my hair. And so she did, and she had a fabulous day. And she woke up the next day and she only had 2 hairs on her head. I said, well, today I'm going to part my hair down the middle. And so she did, and she had a fabulous day. Woke up the next day, 1 hair in her head. Well, today I'll wear my hair in a ponytail. And so she did, and she had a lovely day. Woke up the next day, no hair. And she said, yay, today I don't even have to fix my hair. I'm going to have to, and so she didn't have to do that, and she had the best day ever. Now, this is the attitude that I would like to have every day without having to lose my hair, But it's like that kind of attitude that takes what is and goes with it. I think that's wonderful. So my suggestion, or just one of the, because I love spiritual practices. I have hundreds of them. I rotate them out daily, hourly, whatever. But one fun one is at night, visualize what you want to experience the next day that's going to bring you joy. And if you can't think of anything, if you're at kind of a place in your life where it's like, or you're really tired, and it's like, I can't think of a thing, then just affirm to yourself that something amazing happens to me tomorrow. Something amazing. Why would we not want that? And that's all that it takes, that little practice. And our attitude then wakes up with expectancy, does it not? And my attitude is, where is it? What is it? Ooh, I'm looking for it. And we know what we look for, we find. All of these little cliches and these sayings all come together because they're true. And when we live by them and we get those so into our psyche, it helps us create a life that we really want. T was let's see, like water, T. And T, he says, together everyone achieves more. That makes sense, doesn't it? It says right in Ecclesiastes, two are better than one because you have good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls down and has no one to help them up. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. We're here to be together. And when we're not together and supporting each other, then we start to get into lack thinking and think of things as being limited. Greed is a solo experience, because prosperity is what we experience when we help each other, isn't it? And you can't help but do that. When you help somebody else and help them, you become more prosperous yourself. We know that. I was lucky. I learned this pretty young. When I was in college, I had an internship. I was up in Duluth, UMD, and I had an internship at the police department. I was in corrections and law enforcement was my focus, and at the Arrowhead Juvenile Center. And so I met a young man who was pretty notorious in town because he, about 2 weeks earlier, had been part of a duo of not thinking young men who decided, wouldn't it be fun? Look at this newspaper truck here on the road with no driver in it. Let's take it for a ride. And so they took the Sunday newspaper truck in Duluth and went up on Skyline Drive and threw everybody's Sunday newspapers off Skyline Drive. This was pretty serious business. This was back in the day when newspapers were a really big thing. And everybody was up in arms. You would think, that they had done an armed robbery. Granted, it was not bright. I get that. But anyway, so this young man eventually came to the juvenile center where I got to work with him. And my job was to check, to spend time with him and then recommend when he goes to juvenile court what should happen to him. And as I would talk to the police, they would say things like, well, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You remember his dad? Up to no good. And so it was like I could see that a lot of the people had in their mind that this young man was kind of doomed almost because of history of the family coming up. And I thought, well, this is not good. This kid, I think he was like 14. And very likelihood would be he was going to go either to Red Wing or Lino Lakes, which were the juvenile facilities at that time. So I don't know I don't know. It was perhaps inspiration that I didn't even catch on to at the time. I decided to go to meet the editor of the newspaper in Duluth and ask him because I thought if he could give the young kid a job at being a paper boy, maybe that would prevent him from having to go to Red Wing. So the editor met with me, and I sat down and talked with him, and I gave him my spiel about this kid is not lost yet. He's only 14. I think if you gave him a job where he can make restitution, that would be much more powerful than sending him down a road that we don't want to see him go down. And he said, oh, that sounds like a good plan. And then he said, and would you like a job? And I said, why, thank you. I had not expected that. But I thought, well, that's what happens when you work together and you want to help push someone forward. We get it too. It's like I caught on to that. I didn't take that job. I now wonder what might have happened if I had. But that was a little ways ago. So, that's what happens when we work together. We support each other. E, water, enthusiasm. Famous Amos said, "There is no limit to what you can accomplish with enough enthusiasm. There's no limit." And of course, Charles Fillmore has one of his most famous sayings is, "I fairly sizzle with joy and enthusiasm," right? He talks about that when he springs forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by him. I say that if I'm feeling kind of really tired. And if you say that 4 or 5 times, it does start getting that energy moving. And when we're talking about, enthusiasm, it's entheos is what it comes from, which means God within, which makes sense, doesn't it? Because enthusiasm is within us, that joy within us, which bubbles forth and springs forward, and then we use it to infuse everything we do. And then, isn't that great? It's like God within is now in all of our actions and in everything that we choose to be about doing. And it makes such a difference. If you work with enthusiasm or work without it, have you ever noticed the difference? It bends time, does it not? Working without enthusiasm, that clock does not move. And it's just is not enjoyable at all. So it's like, if we have a choice, bring it in. And I realize that sometimes things are happening in our lives that have really got our attention. But the truth is that if 10% of our life is not going to our preference, there's still that other 90% that is probably just going just fine. Because, well, for one, you're all breathing, your hearts are beating, there's all kinds of good things happening all the time. And so it's just to remember that and then move into that place. And we say here a lot, we have an effort, I'm so happy and grateful for, and then we put something on it, right? So I'm going to invite you to do it right now. Think of something you are happy and grateful for. And get it down to like 3 words, 1 to 3 words. You got it? Everybody's got something in mind you're happy and grateful for? Then what I want you to do is say the affirmation loudly with me all at once, and then add on your own personal ending, okay? I am happy and grateful for Stephen. Did y'all put something in there? Okay, I put my husband in because it's his birthday, and actually I'm grateful for him, so it works good. Now, when we do that, when you're happy and grateful and you're stirring up that enthusiasm, it shifts the energy in the room. And so if you want to shift your energy, or you want to shift somebody else's energy, because we can kind of, yes, we can, it is not my job to change other people, but sometimes I like to just kind of push them along just a little bit. Then it's like bring more enthusiasm to the experience. Bring up that joy, that God-ness within, and let it come out. Makes a difference. So then R for water. Respect yourself and others. We say namaste, don't we? Which is like, loosely translated to me is the godness of me sees, honors, and greets the godness of you. Yeah. And we see the God, and it's the way to see the godness in everybody else. And some people are really hiding it right now. I got to tell you. Well, you probably know. And sometimes that can, but my job is to see it even when it's not visible. And sometimes I just go back, I have to sometimes go back to it. We're a young species. We really are. Granted, and I'm not talking about our chronological age, but as a species, sometimes we're young, which means that there are some people on the planet that are in adolescence. And, if you've had adolescent children, you were very patient with them, were you not? Because one thing, you knew they would outgrow it. 2, your job was to just kind of make sure they didn't get too far off the tracks and help them to, because they'll get wiser. I get humble sometimes when I think about, how I thought when I was a teen and in my early 20s, when I knew it all. It's a little embarrassing. And so that's when I have compassion for some of these people. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, honey, you're going to be so embarrassed when your consciousness raises and you see what you were doing, but it's okay. We understood your consciousness was just not really activated that day. We get to be kind to each other. And there was a story about a college student. His name was John. And he was he was a good student, but he looked like your average typical student. So he was wearing, kind of dirty looking jeans. He liked to go barefoot. And he wore a t-shirt, pretty clean. And his hair, he hadn't found his comb for a few days, but it was not a big concern. That was just kind of how he was. Well, he decided one Sunday he was going to go visit the church across from the campus. And this was a sort of a conservative church. And it was well attended, and so he got there a little late, which was sort of his naturalness. And so when they were already upstanding singing the opening song, and it was really quite full. So he's sort of walking down the aisle looking for a seat, and people are singing and looking over and seeing this this young man who's barefoot. This is a church, in their mind. They're going, and he's walking, and it's quite an aisle. So by the time he walks all the way to, and he couldn't find any seats. Everybody's standing, so it's hard to see if there was an empty seat anyway. And plus, there weren't many. So he finally got all the way up to the front, and so he decided to do, because the song was just about over. So he sat down, crossed his legs and sat down in front of the pulpit. People were kind of watching this going, nobody has ever done this in the history of this church, and this church has been around here for a really long time. And there was a senior deacon in the back. He was a distinguished gentleman in his late 70s, early 80s. And so he started walking up the aisle, and he had a cane, so you could hear the cane clip-clopping as he's walking up. And the minister was getting ready to give his talk, but there was something happening here, so he thought he'll just wait. And so the deacon is walking up. It's a slow, talk about slow motion, walking up to the front, and people are going to themselves, their minds are going, oh my gosh, he's going to ask the kid to go to the back of the church, or whatever it might be. He walks up, he sets his cane down, and oh so gingerly, he sits down on the floor, smiles at John, and shakes his hand. The energy shifted in the room, and the minister came up and he said, you're never going to remember what I'm going to tell you today, but I think you're never going to forget what you just saw. Because it's in that kind of respect we have for each other, where we set our judgments, our preconceived notions, whatever those usual things that our mind goes to, and we just be with each other, that it's pretty darn incredible. So anyways, we got whatever you believe. A, attitude. T, togetherness. E, enthusiasm, respect. Melon. Okay. Make a commitment and do something. That's what Amos said, and I like this. Because there's always something we can do. If nothing else, we had during the meditation, you can use your imagination to create whatever you'd like to see. So there's always something. And when things feel hopeless, I said it's never, there's no such thing as hopeless. There's always the ability for us to bring our creative energy into whatever's going on. And then also in this, make commitments and do something, it's like, I have learned recently that follow through is better than procrastination. It has taken me many, many decades to learn this. But I think I am finally getting this. And so it's like to go ahead and be kind to myself and follow through on whatever those intuitive, little ideas that I have that come to me that I didn't follow through. Stephen is still not happy that when I had the idea when we turned to 2000 and we had the millennium bug, they were talking about that in your computers. I thought we should sell little, in bugs in clear stuff and sell millennium bugs. I thought that was going to be brilliant. Didn't bother to do it, but he still tells me, oh, you should have followed through on that, we'd be rich. I said, yeah, but actually I'd like to make something that actually is useful, but aside from that. But the point being is that little intuitive ideas come to us, and what this says is do it. Make your commitments and do something. And so I would say make a commitment for spiritual growth. Maybe that is that you're going to read something inspiring, or you're going to do Tai Chi, or there's all kinds of things. And when I tell people that sometimes, I tell them to do spiritual practices, they go, oh my goodness. I said, no, spiritual practices are fun. They really are. The outcome is joyful. If it's not, I'm going to question what you're doing or something about it. It's like find something that brings you joy. And doing affirmations before you go to bed at night, that should bring you some joy, especially when you wake up in the morning and you see what you've manifested. This is incredible. So, to be looking for the fun, which is the E in melon. Every day can be a fun day. Every day. I thought the E should be enlighten up. You like that? I think that's really good. It's like, be light of spirit, but enlighten up. I've heard there's 2 ways to be happy. You probably know what these are. And that is, one is get everything you want. That makes people happy. And the other is, find joy in what you have. Either one works. It's a good thing. And, today is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. They're telling, this is nothing new, is the idea that we want to seek the fun of the day, joy, happiness, whatever wording you want to use for that, but to look for it and to have expectation of it. And even when things are not going according to what would be your preference, my guess is there's something in that moment, in that day, there's going to be some moments where you can have fun. And just look for it. And then, of course, in Mellon, L, love is for love. Love is the answer, whatever the question. We say that all the time. Ernest Holmes, one of our wonderful New Thought teachers, said, love is the grandest healing and drawing power on earth. It is the very reason for our being. Love is the magnet of the universe. That's Charles Fillmore. So, when we're thinking about that love, that I have a bumper sticker on the back of my car that says responding with love. I really need to, it's good to have it in the back. That's helpful for people behind me. It's also good to have one that would be on my dashboard, to remind me that, responding with love is the way I want to be in the world all the time. Plus, it's very wise. In 1993, a research team measured the effect of certain emotions on human DNA. And they used research subjects that were really good at shifting their emotional states. So the researchers took the DNA samples from the subjects when they were feeling gratitude and love and appreciation. And they also then shifted and took DNA samples when they were feeling anger, fear, resentment, those types of feelings. And they found that when the subjects felt anger, fear, frustration, stress, their DNA responded by tightening up. It became shorter, and some of the codes actually switched off. But when the subjects then went back and went into a love space, joy, gratitude, appreciation, the shutdown codes in the DNA reversed, the DNA strands relaxed, unwound, and in fact lengthened. And I'm thinking that longer DNA probably is a good thing. I don't think when the codes shut down, that's probably in our best interest. So they took, after they had those results from that experiment, then they took the experiment and they followed up by testing HIV-positive patients. And they discovered that the feelings of love, gratitude, and appreciation increased their body's resistance to the virus up to 300,000 times. Yeah, if you got something going on, you want to be in love, don't you? You want to be in that loving space. And it's a choice. It's within us. We've got it. All we have to do is just allow it to express, give it some place to focus, to be, and it works beautifully. Mellon, one day at a time. Lao Tzu says what? The journey of 1,000,000 miles begins with a single step. Just be present. And we know this. This is nothing new for us, but it's a good reminder that if we're focusing on the past, it tends to put us into that regret, woulda, coulda, shoulda, what if I'd taken that job, at the newspaper, that kind of thing. You don't need that. And the future is, usually we're not, sometimes we can lead the future with trepidation. And it's a dance. It's not about perfection. It's sort of like, okay, I'm thinking a lot about the past. I want to bring myself up to the present moment and see if I can stay as focused as I can. But if I start getting a little out this way, then I just go back. So we're dancing. It's not about, okay, I've got it. I never think about the future or the past because I delight in both of those at times. But it's about really knowing that the present is that creative point. It's that place where we get to actually experience whatever it is we're experiencing. So, embrace it. And then N, I think he had to might have been running out of things to think about at that point, but never become a victim. It's good. So, it's a good one. So, and I would say, when I say become a victim, in your own mind. That's what it is. Things happen. Being humans, for whatever reason, stuff happens to us. Different times, stuff happens to me, but it doesn't happen to you. Some stuff happens to you and not to me. I don't know why all that works that way, but stuff happens. But it's never allow myself to be consumed by that, to think that that defines who I am. And you notice when good things happen, people don't go, why me? I bet those that they just, what was that, a $1 billion lottery, and I bet the winner went, oh my God, why me? I don't think so. I don't think so. When good things happen, we go, yay. And then but then when the other things happen, I might not go, yay, but I don't want to get so consumed, so focused on that. And so what I do is I go back to the idea, the present, it changes, doesn't it? So what is happening right now that is not to my preference is temporary. And I have kind of this is what I like to do, and I've shared it before, is when I have one thing happening that is really not to my preference, I let the universe know that I would like 10 really favorable things to happen in, collaboration. If I got this one thing, I want equivalent of 10 really good things that I really want to have happen. And, it works. I remember when I was talking with a congregant years ago, and she was talking about, she was in a car accident. And, and it was like, okay, that was the one thing you really would not be your preference. But she was in the hospital. She's telling me about all these great things that are happening. Her son she hadn't seen in a long time came to visit. People are coming out of the woodwork. She's just having the best time ever. But she said, and I knew that because I knew her spiritual practices. She says, I expected good things to come out of this. And she got them. So it's never move into that victim mentality. Always see myself as the divine human being that I am. So we've got whatever you believe creates your reality. Water. Attitude. Together we do much better. Have your enthusiasm and respect for each other. Make a commitment, remembering that every day should have fun in it. Love's the answer. And at one day at a time, and if we never allow our idea of ourselves to diminish, we have this wonderful life that we get to live every day until we don't. And, so it's like every day is so precious and wonderful. So my desire for myself and for you this week is that we have the best week that we have ever had in our entire lives. And there is no reason for that not to be the case. I don't care how fabulous your weeks have been in the past. This can be the best ever. And so it is.
Thank you. I love the fact that our attitude and our enthusiasm definitely create that momentum in our lives. And without that, we can be deficient and not enough momentum. I didn't have enough momentum to figure out a song for today until yesterday morning. And then I was sitting there just relaxing on the back porch, and just like that, there it was, right in front of me. So, Bing Crosby sang this. I think Aretha Franklin. No. Who else was it? It could have been her. I should have made sure of that one, huh? Here's one you'll recognize, I think. Accentuate the positive.
Accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Gotta spread joy to the maximum, bring them to the minimum. You gotta spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum. Have faith or pandemonium's bound to walk upon the sea. Illustrate my last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do when everything looked so dark? They said we better accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't waste with mystery in between. Da 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 la ba 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 da ba da 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 da.
Great song, great response to the watermelon sermon, or the watermelon lesson. I'm never going to eat watermelon again without thinking about that. There you go. So thank you for that. This is the time in our service when we bless our offering. So please hold your offering in your heart or your hands and say with me this prayer, this blessing. Divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Go ahead, Claire.
My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, as the universe says yes. Yes, as the universe says yes.
Thank you, Claire. And now we have the announcements. All You Need Is Love, Flash Flea Market, Food and Beatles Songs Concert on Saturday, September 10th. There's a flyer on the website if you want to see this information at any time. There's two parts to it. 1 and 2 are from 2:30 to 4:30. You can be a contributor or a shopper. The contributors can back their car or van into one of the designated parking lot spaces and put your new or slightly used items in the trunk or back of the van, or set up a table up to 6 feet. Contributors will be asked to fill out a form, which is not available just yet, but it will be soon, and there will be a limited number of places in our back parking lot, so it's important for contributors to pre-register. More information will be available next week. And shoppers, you check out everything, you look at what the items there are, and whatever you want to purchase, you pick them up and go to a main table near the building and pay for the items there. All proceeds go to Unity North Spiritual Center. So this is kind of like a white elephant, good chance to declutter and anything you think might possibly have value. Let the person who grabs it decide or how much they want to contribute for that. It's any way you can do it, of course. You can do it other ways as well. There's also going to be hot dogs sold, a regular turkey or plant-based. So I'm going to try that vegan hot dog. Chips, cookie, and water, all for $5. And there will be a 45-minute break for cleanup in the parking lot and get everybody inside the building here where the concert will occur. And at that time, the 50-50 raffle drawing will occur. And then Amy and Adams will sing a Beatles song concert, get us all to come together inside the sanctuary as we twist and shout, remember songs of yesterday, when all our troubles seem so far away. The men's group information is that the men's group is taking a summer break and looking for new leadership. So if any men are interested in leading the group, please contact Reverend Kathy. And there's a Family Promise event coming up, and we have Kathleen Bailey here with us today that's going to enliven the explanation of this. Morning, everyone. Morning.
It's been forever since I've been, well, no, I was up here 2 weeks ago with all the kids, wasn't I? But I have, I can take this off too. I have, for Family Promise, we have a fundraiser today at Invictus Brewery, which is over by the National Sports Center in Blaine. And you're invited from 4:30 to 7:30 to come hang out and listen or meet all the other coordinators for Family Promise and the staff. And it's a fundraiser for Family Promise. So it'd be great to see you there. It's kind of fun place to hang out, Invictus Brewery over on 105th by the National Sports Center. And if you have any questions, you can either see Chris or I about it.
Thank you, Kathleen. Probably be a good afternoon for a beer, too, now I think about it.
Oh,
Karma and Reincarnation with Reverend Kathy. Second week is open tonight, this week. It's still open, so you can, if you haven't come to the first one, that's okay. You can show up. You should pre-register though, so you get the Zoom link. And then there's some things that aren't on the community news on the website, but Reverend Kathy asked me to read this. There will be a movie night at Unity North. It's an in-person only, so you have to come here. It will not be hybrid, and it's on Wednesday, August 31st at 7 p.m. The movie is Little Buddha. The cost is $5 per person, and snacks will be available. It's a 1993 drama film starring Chris Isaak, Bridget Fonda, and Keanu Reeves as Prince Siddhartha, the Buddha before his enlightenment. Tibetan Buddhist monks from a monastery in Bhutan, led by Lama Norbu, are searching for a child who is a rebirth of a great Buddhist teacher, Lama Dori. Lama Norbu and his fellow monks believe they have found a candidate for the child in whom Lama Dori is reborn, an American boy named Jesse Conrad, the young son of an architect and a teacher who live in Seattle. The monks come to Seattle in order to meet the boy. Gradually over the course of the movie, first Jesse's mother and then Lama Norbu tell the life story of Prince Siddhartha, reading from a book that Lama Norbu has given to Jesse. This is a great movie and a fantastic information about the Buddha and the Buddhist belief in reincarnation. This movie is PG-13, so older kids will love it, and younger kids will probably be okay with it as well, although there will probably be parts of it they don't understand. And a second movie night is scheduled for Friday, September 23rd, and that will be announced. And our prayer chaplain today is Rebecca Thompson. Her number is 424-400-9011. And now we have the prayer for protection. You want to lead some prayer for protection? Okay.
Would you stand? Stand together. Okay. Take a breath. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The power of God holds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God surrounds us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Blessings. All right.
You know what? That's going to be way too high. Let's try this one more time. That's better.
Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth. Peace that was meant to be with God as our
job. Woo-hoo.
That's social time now too, so anybody out in Zoom land who wants to say something now, we'll always let them have a chance first, and then the rest of us can hang around as long as we want here. So. can
So
we get
this is Candy. I
Okay.
wanted to introduce you to my love of my life here, but oh, there we are. Can you see him?
Yeah, see it? Looks good.
We're cheating right now a little bit or something. Here, Ben.
Looks a little
Just say
overwhelming.
hi. Can you do it? Oh, there we go. Say hi, Ben. Anyway, he's my love, so. Thank you.
Anybody else on Zoom land want to contribute something, say something? Okay, anybody here want to say something? Chris has got a mic in his hand. He'll give you a mic if you want to say something.
Hi, guys.
Okay. Well, everybody's encouraged to stay around and visit a little bit. That'd be
Yeah,
wonderful.
good to see you guys. Woo. Ah. Ah. Oh, that was beautiful, Claire. Thank you. The music was just beautiful.
Fun lesson.
Oh, you can find them anywhere, I mean,
If you look for it.
that's it. Well, yeah, that's true, but it's like famous Amos,